Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rock Your Block and today's segment of Egyptian Secrets Wellness Zone. I'm Brynda Johnson, your holistic wellness host. And you know, guys, I know you have a busy schedule and you could be doing something else. So I'd like to thank you, our informed and curious viewers, for spending your valuable time with us today. Let me thank you and let you know that I am so excited and grateful to be on this journey with you and to help you, perhaps inspire you even to take charge of your total wellness. After all, holistic health can possibly transform your entire life. Today we're going to talk about a newsworthy and a much talked about personal challenge among many, did I say many, of us, and I call it WOW. That's my acronym for today, for way overweight. We have, I had a challenge for today because I was going to talk about statistics and the challenge of being overweight, but I went to a mall yesterday and I became an observer and I watched people, walking along. The statistics told me what the numbers are. Americans are really overweight in these times, and there's a reason for it. We have lost who we are. But I watched the folks, in the food court especially, and where were they going but to buy tacos, burritos, hamburgers, pizza, ice cream, sodas, and all the things that make us way overweight. And it not only is damaging to us emotionally, but physically, because when we gain too much weight, it leads to sickness. And it came to me that we need to focus on you, me. We need to focus on self. And that's what we're going to talk about today, in addition to a surprise that we have. But to focus on the root causes of why we are way overweight. We have with us a special person, Don Moragne, who is going to serve as our audience. In fact, thank you, viewers, actually, for sending in questions. We've mentioned before that this is your show, and we ask you anything that you have that concerns you mostly to let us know. So right now we're going to answer some of the questions you have taken the time to send in to us, and hopefully we'll get to the real reasons as to why we are overweight in this country today. Actually, one statistic I have to throw out there right now is that 70% of all Americans are either overweight or in a state of obesity. And that's pretty, but we've been tempted, right, beyond what we can tolerate. So we're falling into a trap, and we'll talk about those traps as we listen to Don. And thank you, Don, for joining us and filling in for us, and you'll tell us who you are and tell us your journey from being overweight, if that's the case, to where you are now.
All right, Brynda, thank you for having me on. I think the reason Brynda asked me on is because maybe about 3 years ago when I got on the scale, it said 1 at a time, please. And so I began my journey with the help of Brynda to bringing back good health, and along with good health to bringing back longevity. And so because I used to be as big as an audience one time, I guess that's why she asked me to sit in for the audience today. So I'm going to do my job here. So Brenda, what we'd like to know, and I think what the viewers as well as the audience that has written and emailed you would like to know, how do we begin eliminating overeating, binging, snacking, and all that emotional eating that seems to be the basis of a lot of the overweight problems that we have and causes us to be, wow, way overweight?
Yeah, good question. Actually, that was quite a few packed into one question.
That's because I'm a big audience.
You're a funny one, too. Appreciate your humor. Hopefully you'll laugh some pounds off while you're sitting there today. Thank you so much for volunteering to do this for us. One thing is, we've lost track of who we really are. And the emotional piece to all of this is we tend to feed our nerves. And that creates a vicious cycle, as does being fat and being sick and being sick and being fat. Where do you get off the roller coaster? Because it is indeed just that. People tend to allow their emotions to trigger something. Either they become angry, resentful, lots of negative things pop up. But
And those lead to eating?
they lead to eating.
Okay, comfort food kinds of things.
That's exactly what happens. And you know when that started? When we were little tanks and we were programmed to think that rewards came from eating something sweet.
Mm-hmm.
We were given candy, we were given lollipops when you go to the dentist or to the doctor even today.
Or when you went to the movies when you were small, you were given hot dogs, popcorn, and so when you sit down, movie, even at home, you feel like you have to eat, don't you?
Some people do.
Okay.
In fact, we recently saw just that. We saw a couple of wows in the theater. And each one of them had their tray of popcorn, hot dogs, candy, and soda. And they sat there watching the film as if it was going to make the movie better. So it's a lot of things that people do are because of different programs they're running.
So how do we eliminate that? How does a person eliminate that binge eating, that snacking and emotional eating?
It goes back to just say yes to you. When we're saying yes to the hot dog company or the pizza stands, we're giving someone else our power. We're giving it away from ourselves to something or somebody else. Mm-hmm. And that's not what we really want to do. We want to take our power back. Actually, we want to learn how to navigate our own life. And that's what we're here to teach and to share with people, how to actually take that power back. That's the only way, by getting to the root cause of the wowness in us, how to get that under control again.
Mm-hmm. Well, you taught those of us who you've been helping with weight loss over the years that tapping into the subconscious mind for permanent change is what happens. Tell us how that happens.
Well, that's the only way it can happen, by tapping into the subconscious mind. Some folks do not realize that 10% of how we operate in life today comes from conscious decisions, conscious thinking. The subconscious mind operates on 90% of what we do in life. If we don't even know that much, there's nothing we can do to go beyond that. That's why willpower doesn't work. So it's only temporary.
Can we apply that subconscious and conscious to those people in the food court that you saw yesterday? Are they consciously thinking of pizza, or they are subconsciously thinking of pizza?
When you get in your automobile and you go to work, let's say you go to a new place and you've never been there before, your conscious mind is directing you because you have MapQuest, you have a GPS, you notice the street signs, you notice the people walking on the street, you notice a lot of things because it's unfamiliar with you. And then you get there and you wipe your brow and say, wow, that was difficult to get there. But when you've gone to a place, say after the third time, you are on automatic pilot. You get in the car, you start it up, and it's like la, 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 la. The car automatically goes where it's supposed to go. Mm-hmm. But that's because of a program. You have programmed, we do it all the time. We program our minds to operate on a subconscious level. So the people in the food court, they are programmed, let's go to the mall. Right away, how can you go in the mall and have all these smells and know that it's something they're supposed to walk away from? Mm-hmm. Instead, they walk to it. So they grab a snack, and they nibble without even realizing what they're doing because the subconscious is already programmed. Mall, shopping, food, theater, movie, food. And that's really, and if you don't learn to study how the conscious mind is not in control, mm-hmm. but the subconscious mind is, then we have more and more wow people. And mind you, the the buffets and things like that, these people know they've spent billions of dollars. The media and the pharmaceutical companies, all these folks have studied how to control the average person's mind to get them to spend their money, their dollars, on these items. This is an important point, and I'd like to talk more about it, but right now it's time for a short station break. When we return, we will continue with our wow discussion. Stay put, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Christian Slade, and I am the greatest baseball player of the 21st century. I earned so much money last year that I didn't know what to do with it. So I started watching Skills to Pay the Bills to know what to do with my money. Now my money is safe, and I have great interest coming in every day. So take my advice and watch Skills to Pay the Bills on Channel 10.
Welcome back. Again, I'm Brynda Johnson, your holistic wellness host, and you're watching Rock Your Block and today's segment of Egyptian Secrets. And we have Don with us now, and thank you again for joining us today, mm-hmm. and for filling in for our big audience. Did you want to ask another question, or?
I did. You mentioned buffets earlier, that buffets have us trained, because I was one of those persons who used to go to a buffet and wouldn't leave till I got my money's worth, even if it took me all day. So it was a mindset. But what the people are asking is, how do you learn to love yourself in your body, seeing that there is this subconscious thing going on that we don't even realize? How do you learn to love you? How do you change that? How do you love yourself? How do you say yes to you, as you indicated in the last segment?
Okay, how I've done it. Several things I've done, because I know that a lot of things are geared to manipulate me, and I tend to be an automatic rebel when it comes to knowing I'm being manipulated in a way that is damaging to me. Mm-hmm. So one thing, along with the vanity that I have as a lady, I have pictures of myself when I was young, in a bathing suit.
Last year.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And I put one picture on my refrigerator and another picture on the bathroom mirror. So I have memories of when I was young and in good shape, and I refuse to let that totally go. Mm-hmm. So I have implanted devices or techniques or strategies that assist me in my journey, because I love life and I love feeling good. Mm-hmm. So you have to go in and find, and the rebel again in me tells me that when we become sick, we go to the doctor. The doctor either wants to do surgery, give you medicine, or they get rich, we become poor, because we're giving our money to the food stand people, if we take all of those dollars and cents, instead of giving them to the doctor, to the food court, or just wasting money, and put it in a savings, how we can grow, financially.
Well, let's talk to, don't interrupt, the 95% of rebels out there who aren't rebels. How do they begin to love themselves? How do they begin to say yes? What do you teach your clients that you help with their overweight situations? What do you tell them to do?
Well, what I tell them to do, I am not going to share on television.
Okay.
Because those are private sessions. Each person has a specific area that they need to address. What I would tell you would not fit anyone else necessarily.
Okay.
So
do you tell them to choose smaller portions and eat healthier foods? Begin increasing the activities? I mean, what kinds of things do you help them to do to break their addiction to food?
That's a good one too. An addiction is an addiction. Whether it's sugar, tobacco, you name it. An addiction, I'm addicted to sugar. So I really have to work on not consuming sugar. Mm-hmm. And once an addict, always an addict. And one is, in my opinion, just as bad as another. So I control the amount of sugar I'm willing to put in my body because I know what it can do for me. What it boils down to is learning to love yourself. And that's usually why, if you do research on sugar, it's usually because somewhere in your childhood you didn't receive the love and attention and affection that you needed or thought you needed.
Really? I thought it was lollipops, but it was actually deprivation.
Well,
who knew?
Yes, that was a substitute. The lollipops and the ice cream, instead of a hug and a kiss and I love you and you're a perfect child and a perfect baby. And some parents didn't nurture children that way. Instead, they would give them the cookies and the ice cream and so forth. So it became two programs, one in not receiving what you needed. If you leave a newborn baby alone when it's born and you stick a bottle in its mouth, that baby will die. That's a fact. The baby needs to be nurtured and cared for. Mm-hmm. It needs to be loved and know that it is wanted. So that's how people have to learn to go within, not without, because that's what happens when you go outside to learn to eat sugar and sweets and hamburgers. Some people are addicted to pizza.
So the audience wants to know, what guidelines can you give them to help them deal with these afflictions and addictions?
Okay.
And lack of self-love?
Well, the self-love has to come from within. And they need counseling or guidance or coaching in that particular area. They can do what I've done, put pictures up of how they were and know that they love themselves then, and they can continue to love themselves even as we mature. But to cut back on cravings, for example, if you love potato chips, some people are addicted to potato chips, as odd as that may sound, and potato chips are depleted of any nutritious elements at all. It's just an empty calorie. Substitute that with popcorn, for example. Still gives you the crunchiness. You use sea salt on it and actually coconut oil to pop it in. Then you have a nutritious snack. So if you love ice cream, substitute it with sorbet or even sherbet until you can have more control over what you're putting in your vessel. This is our vehicle. This carries us through life. So we don't put diesel fuel in a Rolls Royce. You don't put the low grade in the Rolls Royce. You love your vehicle, which is what we have to use throughout your life, and that takes us to where we're going. Mm-hmm. So you learn to do substitutions because you can't take something away from us even though we're old than we were when we started these challenges. So we just find substitutions. And for example, another thing to think about is when you're eating nutritious food, it has all the nutrients in it which will satisfy the body. Then that cuts out the cravings. As odd as that sounds, the more you eat of junk food, the more you want, because your body is not getting the nutrition it needs. So when you're feeding it total whole foods, raw, healthy, organic foods, the body says, thank you. And then it's not craving anymore. It's the strangest thing.
But when you feed it empty calories, it still wants more because it hasn't gotten what it needs.
More. And then we become wow, wow. And that's what's happened to the American society. The buffets are giving you all the foods you want. So what do people go for? The things that make them fat. They're empty calories. I've learned recently I can go to the buffets too, but I'll fill my plate with wholesome foods, green, fresh,
colors,
yes, and a variety. And when I leave, I am as full as the next person is that ate all the garbage, and then they leave and they're still craving because the body is not satisfied. This is what has to happen to make these definite, permanent changes. Eat as much as you want of fresh foods. It's good for you, and it's filling, and you don't even need as much. Your appetite dwindles, and your stomach shrinks as well.
I've heard you use the word dis-ease as in terms of talking about illnesses. So a lot of the wow problems turn out to be hypertension, blood pressure, cholesterol. Is it ever too late to become conscious of what you're doing and change your health?
Never. It's never too late because of the way the body is designed. The body is designed to heal itself, but it needs certain elements to do the work for us. The cells are dying, new cells are being created every day. You give those cells what they are requiring, the body sloughs off the old cells, the new ones regenerate the entire body. So it's never too late to start regenerating, rejuvenating the entire body. And dis-ease is actually, and I'm so glad you pronounced it the way I do, dis-ease. And all of dis-ease, or disease as the doctor would like to call it, is a result of stress, which goes back to the emotional problems of feeding the body because of stressful conditions, which leads to dis-ease, and that in itself is a vicious cycle. So we say break the cycle, put you first, and be conscious of what we're doing to our bodies. We don't have to be the part of the population. Your knees hurt, your shoulders hurt, you have this, that, and the other because of the foods that we're putting in. So let's decide to shrink and be healthy and be happy. And we can all do this.
Great. So actually you can go from wow to wow just by making sure that you say yes to yourself.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that point home. And it's time we Americans wake up. We're all related. We're all sisters and brothers, and it's time to lock arms, as I like to say, and do this together and not give the pharmaceuticals, the doctors, the people that are really trying to help us, hurt us, I should say. And I was too excited there because I'm asking for everybody's help. And folks, it's just about time for us to wrap up. I could really go on and talk about this more and more. But I want to thank you for watching Rock Your Block and another segment of Egyptian Secrets Wellness Zone. My parting comment to you, my informed and curious audience, is simply this. Each morning that we are blessed to wake up, let's decide to show gratitude to our Creator by choosing to be healthy. If you're interested in participating in the Biggest Loser contest with us, please contact us for details. Until next time, remember, nothing tastes as good as thin feels. See you next time.